I am coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, in a parking lot right now. But I wanted to take a couple minutes, and I didn't want a Friday to go by without doing a quick live. I just came back from an adoption professionals conference, and my mind is spinning. Although we were staying with cousins, I brought my son Trey with me, and we had a great time. My mind is about to explode because every time I learn a little bit more about adoption. I met Rachel, my consultant, for the first time, and we hung out for 3 days. It was really fun. Missing you. And I'm sure, Rachel, you can say the same thing too. My head is just exploding. And every time I learn something new about adoption or learn something from another perspective, I just realize how complicated adoption truly is. There are so many layers. And I've said this time and time again, but if you think that you are going to adopt a baby and then that's the end of your adoption journey, please, I urge you, don't adopt. It's not the right thing for you. I would venture to say that your adoption journey begins after you adopt your child. There is just so much to learn about adoption, and if we're going to do the right things by our children, and really, again, if you're not prepared to do the best things for your child, don't adopt. There is so much to learn about adoption in order to love our children in the best way that we can, provide for them in the best way that we can, educate them in the best way that we can, and really give them the life that I know we want to give our children. And unless you are willing to fully embrace all the messy of adoption, we're not able to really do that in the best way that we can. I talk about community all the time. And you know what? Community is just as important for me as it is for you as it pertains to adoption. Community, to be around other adoption professionals that get it, was so refreshing. And I was able to learn something from every single person that I spoke to over the last 3 days. We all really want to do the right things, and yet sometimes that just doesn't happen. Why? I guess there's any number of reasons why. Sometimes things just get by you and you don't do what maybe you should. Other times you just don't know what the right thing is. And I'm talking about in the journey through adoption and working with agencies and asking the right questions. And sometimes agencies are way too quick to do a match. And a lot of that has to do with being afraid that an expectant mother might go to another agency and then they'll lose out on a lot of money. But that's not a reason why we shouldn't push back as hopeful adoptive parents, because we need to keep pushing back and keep unpeeling the layers just in a situation to learn if this is the right situation for you, for this lifetime commitment that you are about to embark on. And then once you adopt, especially if you're adopting transracially, but even if you're not, if you are adopting transracially, you must make a commitment to be around other transracial families, to be around professionals that can help you continue to learn, continue to have tough conversations, continue to be in conversations with other families about how your child is reacting or handling a situation. We don't always know the best ways to respond, and that's okay, but we can learn from each other, and we have to learn from each other. And so one of the commitments that I am making, and one of the things that me and my team are going to be looking at, is how can we help our community post-adoption continue the conversations and continue learning and continue being in community with other people and other families like them. It's important for us as parents, and it's important for our children to be constantly be with other families that are like ours and constantly learn the right words to use and the right time to teach certain things. In Atlanta, there's an amazing, amazing museum here, the Civil Rights Museum. And it's amazing. It's very interactive, and I learned a lot. I could have spent days there. But it just really, one of the things I was thinking about is, when do we expose our children to this stuff? When do we expose our children to this history that's so hard to hear, but is so much a part of who they are and part of what their history is? When's the right time, and what are the right words? When do we start talking about to our children who are different, color other than white, that they have to act and look a certain way when they go out into the community, or what they might experience from other people? One of the things that I heard, and I'm not going to get this exactly right, but that how we perceive our families and our children is not the way that they are perceived when they walk out into the world. And how are we preparing our children for that? Right? I raised my hand in a session about transracial adoption, and I said a number of things because my head was just exploding with information. One of which was that with agencies, when they talk about post-adoption, they're typically talking about the birth parent at that point, and that is extremely important. And we want them to be giving continued support to our birth mamas. But it's also just as important for us as adoptive families to continue to get that support as well. Because I'm a very well-meaning transracial adoptive mama. And I don't have the right words. I don't have the right words to talk about. I don't have all the resources, or sometimes I don't know where to go to learn about Hispanic culture or traditions or the way Hispanics are seen out in the world. And I do whatever I can to learn, but sometimes that's just not enough. And I need to know how my child is going to be perceived out in the world, because he is being raised by a white mom without Spanish in his family, without other people that look like him in our family. And sometimes we do things, and that's awesome, but it might not be enough. Learning how to do your black child's hair and learning about skincare and hair care, that's awesome. And yes, do that. But that's not where it stops. That's not enough. And unless you're prepared to do more, think real hard about if adoption is right for your family, no matter how much you are dying to be a parent or to adopt another child. Are you fully prepared? That answer is no. But are you fully willing to do what it might take to do what's best for your child? That might even mean picking up and moving your family if you're not in the right place for your child. Would you be willing to do that? If you can't expose your child to other people that look like them. Anyways, I need to just decompress for about a week to really take in everything I learned. I'm an adoption professional, so you better believe I have to know about all these layers. But you know what? I need to know them as a parent too, as an adoptive parent. So I want to challenge you, if you're an adoptive parent already, or if you're thinking about embarking on the journey or already embarked on the journey, are you really, really, really ready to do the work that you're going to have to do, whether your child looks like you or not? Adoption is complicated and it's messy, and we can be amazing parents for these children who came to us for a reason. And we have to be willing to be an adoptive parent. Not just a parent, but we have to be willing to be an adoptive parent. So think about that. Adoption is not always comfortable, but commit to yourself to do the work. Love you guys, and I hope to continue the conversation with you. Bye.